Alright, ladies, it's Marcel Proust.
Marcel Proust.
Marcel Proust. Part 2. Part 2?
Sure.
Mon deux?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So it's Schmitty's turn. So let's see if she can beat my time. I was at 30...
I'm not trying to beat time at all.
It was 30 minutes for 35 questions. Here we go. What's your idea of perfect happiness?
Boom. Just like that.
He drops you right into the minefield.
No, that was my response.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No. Perfect happiness. Perfect happiness is... I have to like connect to...
Ground yourself, bitch. Get in there. We should have went rolled.
I think perfect happiness is knowing that your loved ones accept who you are, what you do, where you're at in your life in all the ways, and that you can give that right back. Yeah.
That was a much fucking better answer than mine. What is your greatest fear?
Surface level fear, it's being on a raft with no edges in the middle of the ocean at night in a storm. Surface level. Like if you take the metaphor of that, I think it's just having no control over a situation to the point where it annihilates you and swallows you whole. And like witnessing yourself go down with no end. It's
so interesting because you're so into pirates. That you're so much into pirates. That
Well, I saw the psychic once, and they said that I had a past life, and.
But that water is so much. Like sea life is so much of a metaphor.
Because apparently I died at sea with a shipwreck. In a shipwreck.
Both hand. It's fine. What is the trait you most deplore in yourself? Deplore. Strong word. I'm just reiterating what you said.
I know. Deplore. The trait I most deplore in myself is,
And remember, you can skip questions like I did. I skipped 3 questions.
I know. And you know what? Like, the trait I most deplore is the fact that I want to skip this question right now, but I shouldn't.
No, it's okay.
I think it is sometimes the inability to see myself and just, like, compare myself to other people's journeys or other people's characteristics or traits. And getting stalled by that limitation. Comparison in a very, like, tunnel vision way, yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Hashtag Roosevelt. Alright, what is the trait you most deplore in others?
There's so many. It's terrible.
Start listing them. List them.
Probably the worst is
they don't know you're talking about them. Just list the characteristics. They'll know who you're referring to.
Dishonesty, definitely, but it's more like an arrogant dishonesty.
Like pathological. Like they believe their own lies?
No, because pathological, then if you believe it so much that it's a disease, then you're fucked and you just gotta get help. But it's more like manipulative dishonesty.
Understood.
Yeah.
Which living person do you most admire?
My parents.
What is your greatest extravagance? Extravagance.
See, it's funny because you mentioned traveling, and I feel like this is the thing that I splurge on is traveling. But then when I travel, I don't I budget travel.
You're frugal.
So I feel like
yeah, the questions are very like
my extravagance is probably
nebulous.
Sitting with you and drinking wine. Only because it's something I'm thinking about something that I could hold back on. Like pull the reins on that I don't want to. That's my extravagance in my mind. And so my extravagance is like I could pull the reins on hanging out with you, drinking wine and shooting the shit, but I don't. And I mean, it doesn't get in the way of anything necessarily, but it's definitely something that I could be like, whoa, slow down there. But it's fun. So I don't.
No, but that's what's interesting about these questions, though, too, is like, what do they mean by extravagance?
Right.
Like, do they mean
Right.
like what you spend, or do they mean what you want to spend, or what
Right.
you wish you could spend, or like what time?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like we have spent, and not to go off on a tangent, and I'm cutting into her time, and I will take this off of her clock.
You can cut into my time any
But
day.
this is what's so great about
Yes.
this questionnaire and like these videos is that like when we first filmed this 3 years ago.
I don't even remember my
We'll
responses.
go back and we'll watch them. But
Yeah.
like what's so interesting though is that like what this is an extravagance, but like this is an extravagance in terms of like, okay, yeah, like we blew money on wine when we could have put it elsewhere, and we're bullshitting and we're doing this and that.
I'll
But,
tell
like,
you what the difference is.
without this, like I wouldn't be like without our having done this 3 years ago. Without any of that, I wouldn't be who and where I am now, which is much better.
So I think I nailed it in my mind. So
Nail
I think the extravagance aspect of this is that I know people that have kids that have lives that are a lot more demanding than mine, and that would never even imagine having the time to sit in front of a screen, sipping on wine, asking each other some personal questions. So I think my idea of extravagance is what's extravagant in my life is having the privilege to sit around and indulge in my own ideas and my own self amongst friends, when I know that there's some people in my immediate surroundings
Agreed.
that couldn't even imagine taking a bath by themselves because they have kids popping in or some shit going down. So I think my extravagance is the luxury of time that I have. And yet it's interesting because I often use time in my work setting or in other areas of like, oh, I don't have time, but shit, I mean, I got time to do
But
this.
this speaks
and
to
that's
the
extravagant
but
to
this
me.
speaks to the question that was asked earlier. Like comparison is the thief of joy, right?
And that's
so
it. And I'm
everything
doing
is
it again.
relative.
And everything's relative. But I constantly come back to a place where I want to ask myself, okay, yes, you get to do this, but what is that compared to the norm? And I'm not saying like the norm. I'm not saying like the norm is not like. I don't know. I'm 34 years old. A lot of friends that I have that are at that age, they've got like 1, 2, 3 kids. They've got, you know, a committed relationship where maybe, I don't know, like they've got other I just feel like my extravagance is my ability to do this.
No, and
let me indulge.
Yeah, and one of the latter questions is like, name your current heroes or somebody you admire, and I was naming like the women in my life,
right.
Specifically the women with children, because of this exact point. So here we go. What is your current state of mind?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a back and forth between like, so right now surface level I feel pretty good. On a deeper level, you know, if I start to think too hard about what's going on in the world, our political climate, or the fact that my family's not around, you know, that particular struggle of distance and identity and belonging, then my state of mind is like, you know, a couple of solid eggs ready to be stepped on and crushed to the core. But again, perspective, comparison, I'm doing really well. I'm comfortable.
It's
you know?
interesting. Yeah,
So
comparison can be a good thing and a bad
I'm telling
thing.
you, it's like it constantly comes back to me looking at that, and you know, I can compare myself too much, but then when I compare myself, I also see things that are going like, I'm fine. I'm great. I live in a great place. I have wonderful people in my life. I've got a family that's really loving, that lives abroad, but that's really loving. So yeah, in retrospect, I'm good.
What do you consider the most overrated virtue? Remember, you can always pass. I passed on 3.
I'm trying to get the right definition for virtue, like the clear definition of virtue.
Well, whatever it means to you.
I think confidence.
is an overrated virtue.
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
No.
On what occasions do you lie?
At work, you know. Like, I don't know, if I'm tired and I want to stay. Actually, that's a lie. I never call out. I was gonna say, like,
so you lie all the time.
So, yeah, I never call out. No, the reason why I said at work, no, probably at work, like in, I don't know. I mean, I'm very professional at work, but I think if there's a situation with the people that I'm dealing with, and I've got to, it's never big lies. It's more like white lies, you know, like
white lies
smoothing
make the world
things
go
out.
round.
Yeah, like some of the stakeholders that we work with, you know, you don't lie, but you kind of you smooth the edges around. You know, we like to polish things. So,
love to polish.
Yeah. In my interpersonal relationships, I really try that. Like one of my biggest pet peeves in relationships is dishonesty. So, I try to be as honest as possible. And also, I've lived an entire teenager life of not being honest. So, that guilt is like I really try my. But you know, then again, shit happens, and sometimes, you know, I tell people I can't go out because I got shit going on, and really, I just don't want to go out with them. So. That's
Adulting 101.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
What do you most dislike about your appearance?
About my appearance?
You answered that like you were expecting me to ask you, what do you most dislike about my appearance?
I mean, no, honestly, just like I could probably lose weight, you know. I don't know. Everybody's got their shit. And I think when we did these videos 2 years ago, I was probably, I don't know, 15 pounds less, though. Yeah, just weight gain. No big deal.
Which living person do you most despise? Remember,
goes really well with the Anya song.
Oh, it does. Remember, you can always pass, and we can circle back to the questions we didn't answer.
If I pass something, I really want it to be because I really can't answer it. Well, maybe I can't answer that. There's nobody in my immediate, like...
But see, that's the thing about these questions, is like, was this meant, like, people you know personally, or just people
in general?
alive?
Yeah.
Like, there are plenty of...
I think
hashtag Trump.
You know, I was gonna say, like, I pretty much despise. But despise is a strong word. I really don't like our president, and I also feel bad for him because he's an idiot and he needs help. Is that despising someone? You know, like, despising to me has like a hateful connotation,
It
and
does.
I have a hard time.
It's a trick question.
Even with people that have hurt me really bad in my life, there's a part of me, I mean, this is going to sound super cliche, because I don't want to sound like a fucking Buddhist, and like, oh yeah, anything goes, but despise is a big word. I don't think there's anybody immediately that I can think of that I despise. What I do despise is people coming together and creating ideas that hurt other people. So maybe it's more of like a conceptual despising as opposed to like individual despising. I don't know.
Well said.
What
is the quality you most like in a man? Because that's an easy segue.
Humility.
Ooh. What is the quality you most like in a woman?
Women are amazing.
That's not a quality.
I'm thinking probably authenticity.
Okay.
And consistency.
Oh.
Pair with that.
Oh. Consistency. We all know what consistency means.
I don't think anybody knows what you're talking about.
I think they do.
Okay.
Which words or phrases do you most overuse?
So, do you have any ideas?
Oh, I have some ideas.
Well, what are the ideas?
No, this is your question.
I was gonna say it's funny because I moved out to the Bay and I thought hella was ridiculous, and now I'm always like hella. But
I've never even heard you say hella except when you're commenting on hella.
Great. Scratch that one out.
Okay, all right, so there we go.
So that's it. I don't know what else.
That works.
Bye.
Bye. What or who is the greatest love of your life?
asked you this. I would have thought about it before. The greatest love of my life?
So remember, I answered it as love and non-romantic love, like non-romantic and romantic.
Yeah. So I honestly don't
the questions are very like
it's very fucked. So
my mom is the love of my life, but then I have the romantic love. But it just who's the love of your life? You could have many loves.
Yeah, you could have many loves. So I think on a romantic level, like I love my partner, but you can never say like, oh, that's the love of my life, and then like I don't know, shit could go down. Love you, Rach. But
we love you, Rach.
On a non-romantic level, I think the love of my life is my vulnerability because it gets me to places where I need to be over time.
Who saw that plot twist of an answer coming? Genius, Schmitty. You should have your own goddamn fucking blog or podcast.
I don't think so, but
I'm sorry, I totally ruined that. Your vulnerability. Keep going.
Well, I think that's it.
Go out of frame.
Because no, please, I like you in the frame. Yeah, because it constantly gets me questioning myself and reassessing.
Damn, I gotta fucking redo my answers.
No, you don't. Your answers were great.
When and where were you the happiest? We're halfway there, people. When and where were you the happiest?
You know, this is something that's really hard. So I think definitely growing up as a kid in Petit Paradis, my childhood home in France, is the happiest.
Small paradise for you white motherfuckers.
The happiest I know of happy because of the fact that I didn't know anything else. Like, my parents, I feel, did their best. I don't know about how they feel about it, but did their best to give me the happiest childhood. So probably like childhood remembering of those days rummaging around, you know, in the countryside of southern France. Looking at it now, there were a lot of unhappy things happening all around, but that's probably my most purest, unbiased, untamed sense of happiness.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Because when I was answering this question, and I remember even answering this question like 3.5, 2.5, whatever years ago it was, like, my childhood was like untainted. But memory is very malleable, right? Like, our memories are shaped and shifted by certain things, right? Like, their memories aren't fixed. Like, they're not necessarily like photographs. Like, we remember things a certain way. Somebody else would remember the same thing differently, right? But what's so interesting about like childhood is like my childhood, like to your point, like I remember it as perfect. But there was still fuckery going on. But because you're a child, like you're not perceiving or you're not able to access or receive certain amounts of that fuckery. So like you have like this protective thing happening where you thank God for whatever that is. Where like your brain or the universe or whomever is just like, oh no, it's somebody's getting fucked over here, or this is happening, or this is financial trouble over here, or whatever. But like you're just like, oh, I'm in Petit Paradis. For you, you're like in the country of France, and you're doing this, that, and the other, and I'm at Disney, and I'm like having these memories shaped in my mind of happiness. And you are too. Meanwhile, like the people around us are adults, and they're not having that same experience, but like something shields you, and it's beautiful because
I think it's ignorance is bliss in a way. It's like the whole saying that ignorance is, I mean, there's a bliss about not knowing the ins and outs of the world and of people. And when you're young and you have someone doing everything in their power, if they are good parents. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not if they're a good parent, because some good parents really try to do everything in their power. If circumstances allow, and they try to give you the best you can possibly get, that's all you know. Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you to our parents.
Yep.
What talent would you most like to have? She's a guitar virtuoso, so you can take that off the table.
I'm really not.
She's actually a really amazing singer. So anything musical,
actually
take
really
off
not,
the table.
And I was actually going to go the musical route. I'm actually really not.
Right.
I gotta send. thank my friend Victoria, who just taught me how to play a new song recently. After I had dropped the guitar for quite some time, so I'm picking it back up. Yeah, talent. I think I would want to. It's not really a talent. It's more like a skill to speak as many languages.
They can be one and the same, though.
Yeah, I think just like speaking, being able to speak Arabic fluently and Chinese, because I speak French, I speak English, and I can get by with Spanish. So then I'd be all set to do whatever
I speak Orlando, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Ocoee,
which is a talent
Miami,
in and of itself. So there you go.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
What?
We're waiting for your answer.
I could change one thing about myself. Like, it can be anything?
Anything in the world, in the universe. You have a magic wand. Bibbidi bobbidi boop.
About myself, not about
yourself.
my past, not about myself.
It just says, yeah.
Yeah, probably I would want to bring in more right brain than left brain, because I love my right brain. I love the creativity aspect and everything, but it's not prominent. I'm very analytical, and I'm a little too overthinking and like analyzing and planning and organizing, and
so that's your left brain.
That's my left brain, and
okay.
so I would want to bring in more of the right
brain,
like
okay.
the
artist.
The creative thinking, like thinking outside the box. And I mean, I do that on an analytical level. Like I want to do that on more of like a I don't know, right brain plane, whatever the fuck right brain people call it.
It's a lobe. I think it's a lobe. I know.
I think it's a lobe too.
What do you consider your greatest achievement, Schmitty?
Being an adult. Yeah.
See?
Making it. Just making it.
Alright. You thought that was hard. If you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what would it be? Person or a thing?
Yeah, I don't like you. I don't think I would want to be a person. I mean, that's going on. But
isn't that so telling, though?
Yeah.
This is like, wants to come back.
I mean,
this.
Yeah, it's just like it's just too much processing.
It's a lot of it's the makeup and the weight.
I think I actually said this when I did
cycle.
this 3 years ago. I mean, I don't really remember, but I think I would want to come back as a wild horse that can't be fucking tamed, or like something that just is like I would want to be in the wild, like in nature, in its own element, and really be a free. I mean, then okay, we can have a million conversations about how free is the wild horse, but we're not going there.
Right.
So
I'm with you, though.
Idealistically, a wild horse, just out in the
like a Mustang, just
Mongolian steppes or something.
Get it, girl. Where would you most like to live?
This is an ongoing question that I've had for the past, I don't know, a million years. I don't have. I think I would most want to live in a place where both my partner and I find fulfillment in our career and social lives. Is that idealistic? Probably. I don't know. Right now, Oakland's pretty good. I'm in Oakland. Moved out here about 8 years ago. And it feels pretty progressive, welcoming. We're both getting our needs met in many ways. I have wonderful people in my life. I have been thinking about going back to Europe for some time, and I think it's just the thought of going back to Europe takes a lot more. It's like, well, okay, what am I going to do in Europe? Do I want to be around, like, what kind of progressive thinking, or like, you know, because I mean, I'm from Europe, and even though I've never lived there for an extended amount of time as an adult, I mean, my family lives there, my brothers live there. Like,
be an adjustment.
It would be an adjustment, and there's something about. Even though Trumplandia doesn't acknowledge it, there's something about the melting pot that makes it the melting pot. So, yeah, I think I would want to live where I'm most comfortable and happy in right now. That's Oakland, so I'm living where I'm supposed to be.
What's your most treasured possession?
My passports.
Good fucking answer.
Yeah.
on the
Gets me
on
around.
the heels of
It
the
gets me
Trump
around.
question.
It gets me around.
What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery?
I forget what yeah.
My question was very dark and
What do you
honest.
regard? So what do you see as the lowest that you could be?
You asked me to repeat my answer?
I'm saying the question. Like the question means like what do you see
That's
as the lowest that
that's
you
the
can
thing. These questions are very much what you make of them. What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery? Is exactly how it's worded.
I think just feeling like there's no way out. Just feeling like the only solution is